When you ask an AI model to write a complex Python script or synthesize a medical research paper, it feels like magic. The screen populates in seconds. The standard narrative is that these models are digital brains, learning how to think completely on their own by reading the open web. But that is an illusion. Behind almost every polished response is a hidden human editor, a human who likely spent 3 hours correcting that exact logical flow for less than $15. Welcome to the invisible global assembly line of artificial intelligence. We are told that AI is autonomous, but the reality is that the systems we rely on are kept from hallucinating by a massive, highly atomized gig economy of specialized human annotators. These are the ghost writers of modern tech, and their industry is undergoing a massive, chaotic shift. To understand why this human workforce exists, we have to look at how information systems are evolving. According to a recent technical preprint on the foundations of generative information retrieval, or GenAI, we are moving away from traditional search. Old-school search engines acted as simple indexes. They pointed you to a link and left you to do the reading. Modern AI models do not do this. They synthesize, summarize, and generate a singular cohesive answer. But this paradigm shift introduces a fatal flaw. The raw internet is full of logical contradictions, low-quality spam, toxic forums, and outright lies. If a company trains an AI model strictly on raw scraped web data, the model does not become smart. It becomes chaotic, biased, and highly prone to hallucination. To build models capable of structured synthesis, tech giants can no longer rely on raw web data alone. They need premium, highly structured, human-curated datasets. They need human minds to act as a filter. This filtering process relies on a core machine learning technique called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. Think of it as a feedback loop. First, the base AI model is given a prompt and generates 2 different responses. A human annotator then reviews both responses and ranks them based on 3 strict criteria: truthfulness, helpfulness, and safety. These human rankings are fed into a secondary system called a reward model. The reward model learns what humans prefer and uses that math to fine-tune the main AI model. But this is not just a simple thumbs-up or thumbs-down process. As AI gets more advanced, simple click work is no longer enough. The industry is rapidly transitioning from general data entry to highly specialized labor. Today, companies are hiring PhDs, software engineers, historians, and professional creative writers to evaluate highly niche outputs. This task-based digital economy might feel entirely new, but it is actually a modern evolution of historic labor structures. If you look at the labor history of the United States, early industrial systems relied heavily on what was called piece rate work. Instead of being paid an hourly wage, factory workers were paid a fixed rate for every individual item they produced, like a shoe or a piece of clothing. This system shifted all operational risk onto the worker. If the machines broke, or if materials ran out, the workers earned nothing. Today, platforms like Scale AI, Outlier, and Toloka have digitized this exact structure. Modern data annotators are treated as independent contractors, logging into algorithmic dashboards where tasks are handed out piece by piece. 1 hour a worker might make $50 analyzing complex code. The next hour, the task pool dries up completely, or the platform algorithm drops their pay rate to $15 with zero human explanation or recourse. While specialized code annotation can be highly lucrative for some remote professionals, there is a much darker side to this supply chain. Some of the most critical human-in-the-loop work involves safety tuning and content moderation. To prevent models from giving instructions on how to build weapons or generating toxic, abusive outputs, humans must manually read and flag highly disturbing content. Investigative reports have highlighted that workers in developing nations, such as Kenya, have been paid less than $2 an hour to filter out traumatic material. Tech platforms argue that this manual intervention is the only viable way to prevent AI models from causing real-world harm. They frame it as a necessary safety shield. Yet, the systemic tension remains. The safety of the world's most advanced technology is frequently built on the psychological toll of underpaid, precariously employed human beings. As human labor costs rise, some tech companies are trying to bypass human workers altogether by using a technique called reinforcement learning from AI feedback, or RLHF. Instead of humans, They use highly advanced AI models like GPT-4 to grade and train smaller, specialized models. But this path carries a major risk known as model collapse. When an AI model is trained predominantly on synthetic, AI-generated data rather than human-curated data, it begins to lose touch with reality. Over successive generations, the model trains on its own errors, culminating in a permanent degradation of quality, diversity, and logic. In other words, if you completely remove human feedback from the loop, the system slowly breaks. This reality creates a powerful paradox. The very technology designed to automate human cognitive labor is entirely dependent on the continuous, manual consumption of that very same human labor to survive. Ultimately, modern artificial intelligence is not an alien consciousness that built itself. It is a deeply human product, reflecting our collective knowledge, our values, and our biases. The systems we build are only as smart, reliable, and safe as the human minds we employ to correct them. As the transition to generative information synthesis accelerates, we must look past the sleek user interfaces and recognize the global network of minds keeping these systems afloat. If you want to keep exploring the hidden mechanics and economic forces shaping the future of technology, hit the subscribe button and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching.